Hey everybody, what's up? Codex here again, and welcome to episode 6 of the forum. Today, we're getting very much deeper into the RWBY or RWBY narrative, because I feel like we're hitting almost the halfway point. I mean, Volume 2 had, I think, 13 episodes, and Volume 1 had about 16. So getting to around 6, it's almost the halfway point. So we're getting somewhere. And so episode or chapter 6 of RWBY for Volume 3 is called Fall. And I'm gonna discuss more about why it's called that in just a bit. So when we left off, or where I left off in the last episode, was Osmond and Crow wanted to talk to Pyrrha about something. So this episode starts off with Pyrrha entering the top floor of the tower, and then she comes in a bit curious and a bit confused, and then she sits at Osmond's desk, and then Osmond's like, "Pyrrha, do you like fairy tales?" And then she's she actually kind of has a disgusted look on her face. She's like, "Well, why are you bringing up something like that?" And then he discusses the mythology behind the Four Maidens. And it seems to me that the Four Maidens are very, very significant in this series. There being 4 of them, and each represent an individual season. So just like for anything, there's spring, summer, fall, and winter. And actually, that's how the entitlements of each of the maidens went. And then they all had their certain powers with that regard. So that's basically what Crow and Osmond. Well, Osmond discussed the whole story behind them, and then Crow was like, "We have to show you something." And then they take this elevator, and then you see Ironwood. You see Glinda there. They're all there. All the admins of the academy are there. And then they take the elevator down, and then it seems really sketchy. And then they enter this almost like a secret area of the school. It's the very, very bottom, it's probably even underground. And then they walk down this really large, this massive hallway. It's gaping, it's huge. And then they're talking about it's kind of vague. They're kind of sugarcoating it. They're like, "We need you to do something, Pyrrha. We need you to do something for us." And it's "Are you willing to take the place of the Fall Maiden?" And then because that's why Osmond explained the 4 seasons with the 4 maidens. Because when they reach the end of the hallway, there's this chamber, and then there's a young woman in there, and then she was the last Fall Maiden. Her name was Amber. And then Glinda, Ironwood, Osmond, and Crow are kind of depressed, because they're well, it seems that the last Fall Maiden was assaulted and her power was taken from her. Still, some of it remains with her, but we need someone to replace her. We need someone to take her power in place of her. Not replace bodies or something like that. Just siphon the power the other way around. And then they say it's a huge decision. It's very costly, and it's almost it can cause death even if it doesn't go right. So that causes so much tension, because now Pyrrha has to give word out to the rest of her team and tell other people. So, I'm really scared for Pyrrha, because Pyrrha is my second favorite heroine of the series. So it becomes really, really, it's starting to get real at this point, because now there's a lot of, it's a pretty big climax point. So now we're all just wondering what she's gonna say to anyone if she does. And when Pyrrha looked at Amber in the cell, she felt, of course, really sorry for her because Pierre is a really caring person, and like, I really hope it works out because I'm really scared about what's going to happen. I don't really know for sure because now the fandom knows. I mean, of course, there's theories running around, but don't really know. But after that, she kind of lets her head down, and she's kind of like, just give me some time, because she couldn't make the decision right off the bat, and I can totally understand that. That's huge. So yeah, that's pretty much most, like, this episode is very real, quote unquote real. I mean, they exist, but I mean to the point with the narrative, like, so many things happen. So now let's get to the, like the more action-based part. This is where Yang goes against Mercury. Now this is the quarterfinals, because now it's the one-on-ones. So now Yang goes against Mercury. Now a lot of people believe Yang has an advantage just due to sheer power, but Mercury is actually pretty strong. So when you see this fight, it seems pretty neck to neck. Like, it's pretty balanced. Like, the matchup seems fair. It's hands against feet, basically. And then, so fight goes on. There's quite a few exchanges. Mercury gets beat down at one point, pretty good, and then the same goes for Yang. And then there comes to a point where Mercury's aura is like at 0, and you think to yourself, oh, okay, you know, Yang won. And then, like, the thing that's weird is when Yang looks at Mercury and his aura is at 0, she thinks to herself, okay, you know, he's not gonna attack or anything. There's no point because he doesn't have any more aura left. And then Mercury literally jumps forward straight up, like out of nowhere, in like blazing speeds, goes out and tries to attack Yang one last time. And then when, of course, Yang reacts to it. So when she reacts to it, she punches part of his leg, and it breaks it, or that's what everyone thinks. And then when that happens, it's almost like an unnecessary action that she did. And then Mercury basically cries out in pain, and then there's like emergency comes by, and yeah, that's a huge turning point, because now Yang is getting framed. She's basically getting arrested because she didn't know that was going to happen, and she didn't know how to react, and she was like, no, he attacked first. So, you know, there's all this confusion going on. I feel like at some point it's actually going to get a bit like political at some point, because, you know, there's going to have to be some sort of argument, if there is any, see if the argument can be like extinguished, see if Yang can actually be like can be let free if she is arrested or not. So yeah, that whole standoff part was really surprising, because the rest of Yang's team, of course, RWBY, Weiss, and Blake, they were really, really surprised at what Yang did, because they had never expected her to do something like that. So you see all these turning points. It's gone really down low now. It's starting to get really dark at this point. So I think that was all my thoughts about it. Yeah, it was a really pretty heartbreaking episode for most of the fandom and fan base. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts were about it, but anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, stay honest, and I hope to see you again. Yeah, chapter 6, pretty harsh. I don't know how 7's gonna be, and then there's 8, and then it goes on from there. It seems like when it hit this episode in particular, it just turned all into like the dark part. So yeah, I mean, dark turns are really interesting, but they tend to be really unfortunate likewise. So, well, the only thing left to do is wait. So, hope we aren't in for too much bad stuff. Anyway, until next time.